Welcome back. This is Angela at beginninggenealogist.com. Hope you're having a good day today. Today, I want to remind you that you are part of the family story. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, we are so busy as genealogists. We're going after old records as much as we can. We're looking high and low. We're visiting cemeteries. We're going to courthouses. We're talking to people. We're transcribing those interviews, and we're trying to tell the story of the family as it was during many different periods of time and eras that we identify that are pertinent to our family history. Well, we're part of that family history. You are, I am. And one of the things I know in a recent conversation I had with someone was that don't you wish, or at least I know I wish sometimes, that my ancestors had left letters, had left diaries, had left wonderful journals, or just this long pieces of information that I could read to learn about them, learn about how they reacted to things in their lives. I would love to talk to my ancestors who lived in Indian Territory during the years after the Treaty of 1866 was signed. How did they react to that? Did they happen to know Richard Brashears, who was a leader in the freedmen community? What was it like as westward expansion began? What were these things like for my ancestors who lived in Tennessee and those who certainly were there in the Civil War, who joined the U.S. colored troops? I would love to ask them those questions about not just how it affected them in their day-to-day lives, but what did they think about it emotionally? What was important to them? Well, I have a story. I have lived during very interesting times. Thankfully, I haven't had as many situations of trauma to talk about. I've been blessed in that regard, but I've lived through interesting times. I lived through the Civil Rights era, and I have an opinion about things that happened. And what happened around me was my local version of what was happening in the country at that time. I lived through certainly the 70s as the role of women certainly was going through tremendous change. I lived to see the election of the first African American president. I have an opinion. I was there during the inauguration. I have my version of the story to tell, what it felt like when I went to the voting booth. And one thing that I picked up a long time ago was the habit of writing in a journal. And I have many versions now of that journal. I don't write in it every single day. There are times when suddenly I'm very filled with emotion and I have to put some things down. But I realize I'm writing this not just to get out my feelings, but I'm putting these things down to tell my version of my story. Now there are a lot more options that are there. There are blogs, which many people document things that are happening to them. My point simply being is to tell your story. You know how much you may wish that you have letters and journals and diaries to find. Well, blogs are certainly electronic diaries and journals. And of course, there's nothing more wonderful than curling up in the corner and getting a nice cup of tea and writing in my journal. These are things that you're writing not just for yourself to discard. These are things that are going to give the next generation a glimpse into things that have affected your life. Right now in the country today, we've witnessed other things that have happened as well. We know what we thought 5 years ago, 4 years ago when Katrina and all the tragedy that was taking place there. Write those feelings down. We know what we're going through right now with the current tragedy, the human stories of pain and suffering in Haiti. And we all have a reaction to that. And hopefully you're donating to those agencies that can provide assistance. But tell your story. These things, your descendants will sing your name in many, many words of thanks decades from now, generations from now. Don't forget to tell your story and put yourself on the historical landscape. Anyway, that's my thought for the moment, and I just thought I would share it with you. As a genealogist, We know it's about the records, and it's an opportunity for you to create a very, very meaningful record and gift to the next generation. Take care. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.